arguing about the best olive oil, a dish called mutabal, and another dish that needs a drummer to serve it. This week, we're in Aqaba, Jordan.
Traveling the world to bring you delicious dishes, tasty beverages, and interesting experiences. This is the Destination Eat Drink Podcast on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network.
I'm Brent Peterson. Welcome to Destination Eat Drink, the travel podcast for foodies. This is where we explore the world's great cuisine here on the Destination Eat Drink podcast at destinationeatdrink.com and on the Destination Eat Drink YouTube channel. This week, we're visiting the port city of Aqaba, Jordan, for an incredible market, fermented goat's milk, and a memorable meal with the family. But first, could you do me a favor and rate and review Destination Eat Drink? Each 5-star rating and review helps other foodie travelers find the podcast, and thank you so very much. Mohammed from Suhaila Food Tours and Experiences takes visitors to his city of Aqaba, Jordan, to the best foodie spots. And, even better, he offers cooking classes that takes place right in his home with his wife and kids. You can't get much more local than that. Mohammed and I talk about dishes like fettet hummus, the Jordanian version of kefir, and tea made with desert herbs. He also tells me about the importance of olive oil and olive trees, not only in the cuisine, but also the culture of Jordan. Okay, I'm starving, so let's eat.
Destination Eat Drink.
Mohammed Dalaeen from Suhaila Food Tours and Experiences. Thank you so much for being on Destination Eat Drink. It's a pleasure to get to talk to you about Aqaba, Jordan.
Yeah, thank you so much for hosting me today in your podcast.
I want to start by asking you to give us an idea as to where Aqaba is, because I think most Americans and maybe other people from around the world probably don't know about Aqaba. They may not even know where Jordan is. So if you could give us an idea of where you are exactly in the world, I think that would be a good starting point for us.
Yeah, I think it's a good question to start the conversation. Jordan is like, I think not a lot of people that know where is the country, because it's like a small country, peaceful country in the Middle East. Yeah, we have a border with Israel and Egypt also, Syria and Iraq. So the surrounding is really popular about, the conflict here and the wars that's happening here. But the country here is peaceful, so it's not really popular. But nowadays it started to be more popular. A lot of people started to visit, especially from Europe. They started to visit the country here and getting more popular nowadays. About my city is like the Aqaba city is in the south of Jordan. Yeah, we have, it's like a border area. So we have a border with Eilat in Israel, and we have a border with Egypt and Saudi Arabia from the south of Jordan. So the city is considered like really multicultural because of the borders, the food and everything is affected by the neighbor countries also. Yeah. So this is in general about Aqaba and Jordan.
It's also a port city. My understanding is that this is the only major port in all of Jordan. So, Mohammed, that must also influence a lot of the culture, maybe the food culture as well, because if you've got a port city, that means you've got not only goods moving into the city and the country, but you've also got people moving into the city and the country. How does that influence Aqaba and maybe the rest of Jordan?
Let's go back a little bit and talking about the city was within the Ottoman Empire in the past. So the city was under the rule of Egypt until 1894. Okay. And then it's moved to be under the rule of Saudi Arabia till the Jordan Gate, when the Jordan Emirate started in 1914. So the city moved to be a Jordanian city at that time. So you can imagine, so most of the local family here, they origin from Egypt. There's like almost 50 local family in Aqaba. They origin from Egypt and from Saudi Arabia and from Korean family. Koreans because it was the Aqaba was the way for the Muslim in Syria to go to pilgrim in Mecca. So many families decided to stay here. After the First World War, it was really small community living here, less than 1,000 people living here from these countries, from Egypt and from Saudi Arabia and from Syria and some local families from Jordan. So from the past, the mixture of people started, and then now it's more Jordanian coming here.
So it must be very interesting from a food standpoint because you've got all of these different cultures. In addition to Jordanian food, you've got people from Saudi Arabia and from Egypt and from these other places coming in. Do you see any influence from these other places in the food that is commonly consumed in Aqaba?
I can see the culture here about the food is completely different than the Jordanian cities. So the national we have like the national food in Aqaba city is like the most popular food in the city here is called sayadi. It's like a fish plate. So you can now imagine that even the food here is get affected by the city location and the Red Sea. So this is the place which is really popular in some part of the Red Sea, the city that they are located in the Red Sea, like Jeddah in Saudi Arabia or some part of Sinai in Egypt. So the city is a little bit unique about the food and get affected by the neighbors countries. So we have, in general, the culture itself is get affected by the neighbor countries. So in Jordan, when there is a wedding, for example, in all Jordan is serving the national food in Jordan is mansaf, but in Aqaba they're serving another plate. It's called bukhari, which is also really popular in like in Saudi Arabia because of the spices that used for this plate. And there is like a fermented food that we have. It's called mish here in Aqaba. It's really common in Egypt, not in Jordan, just only in Aqaba a little bit, and in Egypt it's the most popular there. And the spicy food, we like the spicy food here, which is like really common in some neighbor countries like Saudi Arabia. We have a katsa, we have a uzi, this kind of a plate which is really popular in Saudi Arabia. So the city is the food of the city gets affected by the neighbor countries. We have a mlukhiyya also, which is like really common here. In Aqaba, also it's common in Egypt. So I think the mixture of people that they're living here, everyone brings his own food here and eating. So the community now, everyone started to know this food and they like it, of course.
So if I want spicy food in Jordan, I need to go to Aqaba. If I go further north in Jordan, maybe I'm not going to find spicy food.
Yeah, it's more common here in the north. They have in the north, they have their own place, which is not really about the spices. Yeah, but in Aqaba, for example, the bukhari, when there is a wedding, it's mix of we call it bukhari spices when you go to the spicy shop. So it's the spicy make the food really tasty and with this plate. Even the sayadiya is like the most popular, and it's only available in Aqaba when you're coming. It's like a fish plate with rice. When you're coming here, they have their own spice, which makes the rice really tasty. Even also caramelizing the onion and these things make it really special. So, in general, the culture is about the spicy and about the chili a little bit.
So your company, Suhaila, you do food tours and food experiences. What would a food experience be like, Mohammed? If I were to book a food experience with you, what would my day be like with you?
Oh, the first thing we go to buy because I wanted to introduce where we go to buy the stuff. So we go to the local vegetables market, or like we call it souk al-khudra, like the souk or the market for vegetables and the butcher there, or chicken, for example, for some place. So we go there to buy the ingredients for the things that we will cook it at home together. So it's like a good opportunity for you to join us, to go and buy together, and we go back home. Then we start. I'm doing my cooking class in my home, in my kitchen, with my wife and my kids even. They can play with you while you're cooking. So it's also like some people not sometimes they really curious to be not in a restaurant. They need like a local to see the atmosphere of the local life. So they prefer to come into your home and to be with your family. So when you want to book my experience, you expect that you will be with the family, not in a restaurant or a place like this. So we cook and family atmosphere all together, which make it really unique experience. So then we explain the steps in general about the place that we will cook it. Then we go. You expected that you will do everything in the kitchen. We teach you how to stand with you, how to do the stuff. We have sometimes, for example, like a different techniques for like you're cleaning the chicken in your home, but we have a different technique. So we want to teach you how. So you learn something new also, because the chicken is a chicken, but the cleaning is the cleaning. But we teach you like how, for example, the Jordanian cleaning the chicken, or how we doing the garlic to remove the cover for the garlic, or some like local way to do the stuff. So we will cook together, and then we will sit and have a meal. The unique thing that we have a special guest room where we have the meal there, and you will sit in the ground like a local here. We sit in the ground. We don't have a dining table, so we will eat all together from the same plate. We have always a bigger plate where you can sit all and eat from the same plate. Everyone eating from his side. Okay, it's kind of sharing and sharing the meal from the same plate, which is like really have like kind of appropriating or something like this.
People use the word authentic a lot to describe experiences, and sometimes I think the word authentic is overused. In this case, I think there can't be a better word for describing this food experience than authentic. People are in your home with your family eating and I'll use the word again, an authentic Jordanian, an authentic Aqaba meal. It's pretty extraordinary, and I'm really happy that you open up your home to these folks to show them what real life is like for folks who live in your city.
Yeah, because I work really close with the tourists in the past. Yeah, so like most of the tourists when they coming to Jordan, you spend like eating in the restaurant or like in the center always. They not really in contact with the local people. So I wanted to give like opportunity. Even sometimes it's happening. Some guests not coming for food or something. They're just coming to have the experience with the family. Yeah. So we start to cook it, but then they eat nothing or eat a little to show us they are coming for the food, but they are not coming for the food. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's accepted by some people who like some tourists who coming to Jordan. We're coming for food and for fun and to be with the family, Jordanian family.
Food is just an excuse to get together and enjoy company, I think.
Yeah, that's it.
So you mentioned, Mohammed, that your food tour your food experience starts in the market, in the souk. And this was something I wanted to ask you about, because I always say one of the things to always do when you go to a new city is go to the market so that you can get a feel for what the local ingredients are that people are eating. When you have Europeans or North Americans come on your food experience and you take them to the market, what kinds of things do they see, and what is their reaction? Are there any things that they see that they say, oh, we can't find this back home, or I've never tried this before?
When we go to the market, the first thing that I think it's like U.S. guests, the guests from United States. I think the first thing to attract his attention is the spices shop. When we go to buy the spices, and how much people are talented there to make the spices in the market. And of course, the 7 mixed spices, which is like the most popular spices in the Middle Eastern cuisine here, and especially in Jordan. And the second thing, I think it's gonna grab the attention for the guests. We don't have like the concept of big supermarket or these things. So if you want to buy the spices, usually go to the spices shop. if you want to go to buy the meat, you go to the butcher shop. Yeah. So everyone, the vegetables, it's from just only people who's selling the vegetables and the fruit. So the culture here is about buying the stuff from it's special place, not from the big supermarket or like a shopping center, for example. So this is in general like in addition to some ingredients that's because it's not really common in United States is such as tahini. The tahini, because it's whenever you go in the market here, you will find tahini everywhere. So because we use it much here for making hummus, for example, or making baba ganoush and this kind of. So most of the customers or the guests, they don't know what is that. So you have to explain some things about that, about the ingredients that the most common we use here in Jordan.
So what are the most popular spices? You mentioned the spices, and that maybe North Americans might see that and be a little overwhelmed with the selection of spices, but there must be a few that are the most popular, the most common in food in your city. What would you say those might be, those spices?
As a coastal city in Aqaba, and we have many fish plates here. So we have, we call it fish spices. We have it here. There is no, we call it fish spices, but it's really, we use it much here, and it's changing the taste of the food, even like when you cook it with the fish. So you imagining the taste of the fish and the spices, make it really, really special. And the second one, like in the Middle East culture, in Jordan especially, it's 7 mixed spices. It's called 7 mixed spices because they use 7 ingredients to do that. So we use this kind of spices to cook the Maqluba. Maqluba is like really popular Jordanian plate. The smell when you flub it. The Maqluba, the word came from when you make something upside down or you flub it. So when you flop the pan, and then the smell of the spices going and to your head, and it's really tasty, and I think it's like the most common in the Middle East, in Jordan and Middle East cuisine to cook. For example, the Maqluba, kift, some other dishes that we have it here also.
So the Maqluba is, if I understand it correctly, it's a dish normally of meat and rice and vegetables cooked in a pot. You cook it in the pot, and then when it's done, you flip the pot over, like you said. You flip it over, and then you reveal the dish. Is that correct? Is that how it's served?
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, we cook the rice and the fried vegetables first. We fry the vegetables and cook it with the rice and the spices and the chicken also. Even for the rice, we're using the water from that we use it already for soaking the chicken. Then we cook all the ingredients together with the spices, a lot of the spices actually, the 7 mixed spices and the black pepper and some ingredients. So at the end, yeah, it's the smell when you flip over the pan. So it's pretty amazing. Yeah. So some guys now started to make a video about that also when you flip it in a really funny way. So it's getting a little bit popular nowadays. Yeah.
So it sounds like with the Maqluba, it's about the food, but it's also very important to have the good presentation because you've got this flipping action going on.
Yeah. Even within the cooking class, sometimes we all waiting and start to make a video for that because the presentation is really nice. And one of my cousins, when he's a drummer also. So before he flip it, to make sure that the caramelized at the bottom of the pan rice, the caramelized rice, because when you put it in the stove, it gets burned a little bit from the bottom. So he start to make a nice drums for that, and then he flop it over. So it's the presentation. I think it's like the most funny part of the plate, and yeah, of course the taste in addition, but the presentation is really important for that, especially when you flop it over the vegetables. Yeah, that's why we flop it over, because you want the vegetables to be in the top in the plate. So the vegetables. So when you put the rice and the chicken in order, so you have to do it in order to make the vegetables, the fried vegetables, to be in the top when you flip it over in the plate.
You got to make a video of your cousin using the pan as a drum to get the maqluba out. That just sounds so fun. Another dish I wanted to ask you about is called mutabal, and I'm excited to hear about this dish because eggplant is probably one of my all-time favorite vegetables, and I'm always excited when I talk to someone from the Middle East or from Turkey about food, because eggplant is always a big part of the diet, and eggplant is something that I love. So I read about this dish called mutabal. I see that it has eggplant in it. So what else can you tell me about this, Mohammed?
Yeah, it's for the mutabal. You have first to roast the eggplant in the charcoal or in the stove at home. For example, if you are can bring a wood, so you can do it. It's more tasty in the wood because the smoke smell. So after this, you're removing the peels and then the mixture. The next step is the mixture of the ingredients that you use. It is super tasty, I can say, because the aubergine and tahini, using the tahini make it really special and tasty, and using the garlic and lemon and chili, if you like the chili, it's super. So the mixture of all these ingredients make this plate really special.
Yeah, because I love the smokiness of the roasted eggplant, especially if it's cooked in with the charcoal.
Yeah.
You get the nuttiness of the tahini. You get the sharpness of the garlic. Maybe you get some yogurt served with it, so you get creaminess with that. It's got to be an extraordinary dish with a lot of depth of flavor to it and a lot of fun to eat that, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think in this dish that all the things that you like, the garlic taste, the lemon, the tahini make it really special and unique, and the eggplant that you love it also. So when you taste it, it's super nice. Now also we add in pomegranate the top of the plate.
Pomegranate.
The good thing with pomegranate is kind of for decoration in the top, but also it's a little bit sour taste. So when you eat all together, it's unbelievable.
I went to, there's a new hummus shop that opened in our town, and I went there yesterday for the first time. And I was so happy that my hummus, when he finished it off, he put a little sprinkling of pomegranate seeds and a little olive oil on the top. And I said, okay, I know this place is going to be legit when he adds the pomegranate seeds on top.
Yeah, and then you know this plate also you adding the olive oil, which is like the main agriculture in Jordan. So when you come in here, you expected a really high quality of olive oil because, like sometimes even in the villages here, when you're visiting, everyone is proud to show you the olive oil that you have it, that we use it for hummus and mutabal. Yeah, in the top always. So the culture here, the food culture here is about the olive oil. Yeah, so everyone sometimes we're fighting that, oh no, my village is better than the olive oil in my village is better than your village, and some fighting conversation,
right,
about that topic.
food fights. And I love a good olive oil, especially a fresh, what I call a green olive oil, because it's brand new. It's just been pressed. I still have memories of one of our first trips to Italy, going down to Puglia, and the family that we stayed with, they had an olive grove, and they gave us a 3-liter bottle of olive oil to take back with us on the plane. And it was just so good because it had just been pressed. It was green and fruity and delicious, and I imagine this would be what it would be like if I were to come to Jordan and enjoy some olive oil from one of these villages.
Yeah, it's not just only the olive tree in general, because of the religion also. It's mentioned in the Quran about the olive tree, and it's blessed for the Muslim who, like the majority of people here in Jordan are Muslim. So it's like a holy tree. So it's not just only food. It's also, like apart from the religion and the culture here. So the green, always they say about it that the olive tree always green, the color that we can use it like for food, we make the sugar from that. So, by the way, the season is soon in Jordan. After 1 month, all started to picking the olive and to start to prepare. I'm going to that machine for pressing the olive oil. So the green olive oil coming soon after 1 month.
Oh, nice. All right. I'll have to book my flight.
If you book your flight, then you have to come. I've helped my family with taking the olive oil from the tree. They will be happy to join.
Okay.
You will be happy.
Good. The kids will help out too?
Yeah, all the kids. The kids are playing or it's something in the ground. But the atmosphere of the gathering and helping the family, yeah, it's really important for the kids.
You mentioned hummus, and I was reading about hummus in Jordan, in Aqaba specifically, and they mentioned a special kind of hummus that I had not heard of before. Maybe you can tell me about it, Mohammed, called fatet hummus. Is this something that you're familiar with, and is this popular?
Yeah, the fatet hummus is, the concept fata, it's hummus. So when you're adding concept fata, this word, which means you're adding bread, obviously. So we have fatet, lahm is like meat, fata, or like chicken fata. So anything you're adding a bread into it, so you make it fata. So when you're adding the pita, the bread into hummus, so you're making fata now. You change it from hummus to be a fata. So you start to cutting small kind of bread, and mix it with hummus and the chickpeas also, not the smash one to make it hummus. Before smashing, so you mix all the ingredients together with tahini. Also, I'm using that local ghee. We have a special ghee that we use it here. Also, you fry the almond and put it in the top. So you can this local ghee make the food really special. I think it's the most expensive even food in Jordan per kilogram. So when you cook with that, also giving really special taste for the food. But the fat is not really like some good places to make it in general. So if you make it at home, of course, it's much better. But you can try in some specific restaurants in Jordan or in Aqaba especially, where you can find a really high quality using this local ghee, the ghee that we have it here. And also, of course, the quality of hummus itself, when you mix the hummus with the bread and the other ingredients. Also, yeah. So there is like some factories to have like a really good hummus.
So we've got all of these great dishes that we've made and that we're enjoying, but what would we have to drink with it? What are some of the most popular drinks to enjoy?
With hummus, for me, if I'm eating hummus or fat hummus, I prefer to eat shanina. Shanina is like the local drink in Jordan. It's fermented goat milk drink. It's kind of similar. I think in Turkey they called it, but with different taste. It's a little bit softer because it's sour taste. This one, it's fermented one. So in Turkey they called it ayran. The ayran in Turkey, and I don't know, in some Europe countries they call it kefir, or I don't know if I pronounce it really good, but
kefir.
Kefir, yeah.
Okay.
So I prefer this kind of, or maybe lemon with mint juice. I prefer the lemon with mint juice sometimes. Yeah. If it's in the summer, yeah, I prefer. In winter, I prefer that shanina, that goat milk drink.
And what about tea?
A cup of tea, of course. We have a different type of tea here. Because we living in Aqaba, so the desert is apart from the city. So when you're talking about Wadi Rum, for example, it's apart. It's a village it's really touristic place, the desert, and some movies take place there, like Aladdin for Will Smith, and so when you're talking about the desert and it's like apart from the city here, so always when you're talking about the tea, you're talking about desert herbs that we use it here to making the tea here. So we have the sage tea, we have the cardamom tea, we have some kind of mixed lemon tea. Also, we have, but the most popular, the thing that we have, the tea with mix of herbs that is coming from the desert, like the sage or the oregano, the za'atar, we call it in Arabic. So when you mix these kind of herbs and making the tea of the food, especially in winter, it's really common in winter. So because in the summer is a little bit hot weather here in Aqaba, above 40 degrees. So he expected the local here, they prefer this kind of cup of tea after the food in winter more. Yeah.
Mohammed, it's been great talking to you about a region of the world that I'm not overly familiar with. I feel like I've learned a lot. I feel like I've laughed a lot at your descriptions of these wonderful foods that sound like they're so much fun to prepare and to eat. If folks want to get in touch with you at Suhaila and book a food experience or a food tour, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Yeah, nowadays I'm posting my experience in TripAdvisor. So when you look to Aqaba in TripAdvisor, you will find my experience there. So you can book, or you can, if you want to, like, you can send me an email. You will find my email there and some information. I already posted also in Airbnb and using this like international platform. So I think it's more easier to, like, people from United States or from Europe to just look and search, and you find the experience that you want. So you can find my experience available on these websites, Airbnb and TripAdvisor.
Mohammed Dalaeen from Suhaila Food Tours and Food Experiences in Aqaba, Jordan. Thank you so much for being on Destination Eat Drink. It's been a joy talking to you. I'm looking forward to someday meeting you in Jordan, and we can enjoy some of these delicious fruits and vegetables and dishes that you've been talking about. Thank you for being on the show today.
Yeah, thank you, Brent, and thank you for the great idea that you helping all the world to know about the food culture, about the other countries. It's a great effort from you. Yeah, you're doing really good. Thank you for hosting me today.
Okay, that's Mohammed from Suhaila Food Tours and Experiences. I've got links in the show notes if you want to reach out to Mohammed to book a tour. That's at radiomisfits.com/DED260. Well, that's it for this week. Next week, it's all about desserts and sweets. We are in the middle of the holiday season after all, so why not indulge in some stroopwafels and some donuts, maybe even a monster pastry from Bordeaux, France. Don't miss that. While you're waiting, get over to destinationeatdrink.com. You can sign up for the free Destination Eat Drink monthly newsletter to keep up to date on all things food and travel. You can also see my videos. I just posted another video about the non-touristy Campo do Rique neighborhood in Lisbon. I visit a great natural wine bar, sample some truffle cheese, and visit a really creepy cemetery. You can watch that by clicking on the video tab at destinationeatdrink.com or by going to YouTube at Destination Eat Drink 946. I also posted a new story about the Portuguese tart called the Pastel de Nata de Bolota. It's like the Pastel de Nata custard tart, but with acorns added in. Quite delicious. Read about that at destinationeatdrink.com/blog. Destination Eat Drink is distributed by the Radio Misfits Podcast Network and Ed Silla. Thanks, Ed. I'm Brent Peterson. I'll see you down the road.
Join us next week for another culinary adventure on Destination Eat Drink, a presentation of the Radio Misfits Podcast Network.